So today we'll discuss the important another order, that is Isoptera. In Isoptera, only single insect is coming, that is termite, and that is very well known and social insects as we all know. So before going to its order and family level classification and its characters. First, we have to know what is its etymology. Iso means what? Iso means equal or similar. So a ptera means wing. So it said similar wing. Okay. So it is called equal or similar wing. This is the photograph of termite. Okay, that is sexually matured from, and below you will see the photograph of different castes in termitidae family, means in Isoptera group, workers, soldier, and this reproductive one is king and queen. So we'll discuss now order level character under order Isoptera. So what are those characters? First, their body is pale yellowish in color. See, pale yellowish in color their body, and because this pale yellowish color, because of weak sclerotization. Okay, that is weak sclerotization. Their body is pale yellowish in color. Next important character, their compound eyes are present in alate form. Alate means winged form. Their compound eyes are present and absent in apterous form. Okay, compound eyes are present in alate form and absent in apterous form. Next, coming to the wing characters, definitely they are having two pair of wings in reproductive caste. You will see here under this photograph that other two castes which are not comes under reproductive caste, that is soldier and worker, they do not have wing. But in reproductive caste, they are having two pair of wing. And see below the photograph, the stretchable wings. Both the wings are similar in size, shape, and their venation. Okay, similar shape, size, and venation. These wings are transparent and membranous. Cross veins are absent in this wing. So these wings are transparent, membranous. Cross veins are absent in this wing. Okay, and wings are present only sexually mature form. Next, coming to their mouth part. In termite, they are having chewing and biting type of mouth part. Okay, their mouth part is chewing and biting type. And very well known antenna's character, that is moniliform or beaded like antenna. Their antenna is moniliform or beaded like. And photograph, it is clearly visible abdomen is broadly joined with thorax. Earlier, some of the order we have said that abdomen is pointedly joined with the thorax or it is conical. But here, in this photograph, this abdomen is broadly joined with thorax. Next, external genitalial organ. External genitalial organ, it is lacking in both the sexes. Okay, external genitalial organ is lacking in both the sexes. And the cerci, you see below this photograph, very short cerci are present at the last abdominal segment of the termite, very short. Okay, so these are the important character under the order Isoptera. First one I told, body is pale yellowish in color due to weak sclerotization. Compound eyes are reduced and it is present in alate form and it is absent in apterous form. Both the pairs of wings are present in case of sexually reproductive form, and both wings are membranous and transparent. Cross veins are absent. Next, I told the mouth part, it is a chewing and biting type of mouth part. Antenna moniliform or beaded like. Abdomen broadly joined with thorax. External genitalia organs are lacking in both the sexes, and cerces are very short. By seeing this photograph, you can clearly differentiate. So these are the order level characters. Now coming to the some specialties of the termites. What are the specialties? And some important internal characters, and we'll discuss that what are the different castes and why these termites are called social insects. What is the reason? That also we'll discuss. And some what are the foods they are taking? That also will be discussed. So coming one by one. So specialties. They are polymorphic in nature. Polymorphic having different form. Okay. They can change their form based on the environmental aberration, environmental adverse condition. They can change their form. And they're social insects and they're living in the colonies. Okay. They're social insects living in their colonies. Coming to the internal character, these are the all external character we have discussed, like antenna, mouth parts, external or genitalial organs, wings. Now internal character, their salivary glands are very well developed. And fat bodies are very well developed in case of sexually reproductive form. And okay, both male and female, it is very well developed fat bodies. Next important thing, soil inhibiting termite, they can construct an earthen mound. I can show the photograph. Again, I will show, this is the photograph of the earthen mound. The soil inhibiting termite, they will construct the earthen mound. This is called termiteria. Okay? This is called termiteria. Okay, soil inhibiting termite, they construct earthen mound, they call it termiteria. Another important internal character, that is, they can share the food continuously. They will share their food within the members of the same groups by mouth to mouth and anus to mouth. It is called prophylaxis. Okay, so what is prophylaxis? Incision. Incision means continuous sharing of the food material between the member of the same groups by mouth to mouth and anus to mouth is called prophylaxis. It's called prophylaxis. So these are those internal character. Salivary glands are very well developed. Fat bodies are well developed in sexually matured form like female and male reproductive castes like king and queen. Soil inhibiting termite, they will construct the earthen mound, that is called a termiteria. And they can continuously, they will share the food between the member of the same groups by mouth to mouth and anus to mouth. That is called prophylaxis. Okay. Now, what are those castes are present in termites? In this photograph, you will see here that immature caste, or this is not sexually reproductive caste, are worker and soldiers, and this is the reproductive caste. My cursor where it is rotating, this is sexually reproductive caste, that is king and queen. So what is caste? What is the definition? So each group of individual having similar perform their functions. Each group of individual, like worker, they are having a similar function, on all the individual performing the same function. Soldier, they are having different function, they will perform the same function, all their individual. King, queen, like that, all the groups of individual having the similar function, that is called castes. Okay, that is called castes. So 4 distinct castes: queen, king, worker, soldier. Okay, so this caste, again, they divided into, based on the reproductiveness, they divide into 2 parts: primary reproductive, secondary reproductive. Primary reproductive, coming that king and queen, and under secondary reproductive coming soldier and worker. Okay, so what is, or how to differentiate between these 2 castes? So in case of king and queen, they are body is darker in color and having good sclerotization. Their body is darker in color and having good sclerotization, and their compound eye and wing very, very well developed. By seeing the photograph, you can clearly see their wings are very well developed and compound eyes are also. But in case of secondary reproductives, their body is pale in color due to weak sclerotization. So earlier in term that Isoptera character we have discussed, body is pale in color due to weak sclerotization. So in case of soldier and worker, their body is pale in color due to weak sclerotization. Okay, and their wings are absent and compound eye is also reduced. It is not present. So what is the differentiate between these two? Their body is darker in color and having well developed sclerotization. Their body is pale in color, having weak sclerotization. Compound eye and wings are very well developed in primary reproductive. In secondary reproductive, wings are absent and compound eye are reduced. And in case of primary reproductive, they are fertile in nature and they are the original founder of this colony. Okay. In case of secondary reproductive, they are supplementary. When the primary reproductives will die, they will occupy their place. That is called supplementary reproductives or called secondary reproductive. So they are primary reproductives are fertile and they are the original founder of this colony. And secondary reproductives, they are, when they will occupy the place, when the primary reproductives will die, that time they will occupy the place. That is called supplementary reproductive or secondary reproductive. Now coming to the why termites are called social insects. Okay, why is it show? So termites are also called ancient eusocial insects because having three important characters. They all the individuals will cooperate with each other in the colony. All the individuals will cooperate each other in the colony. Second, they are having well-defined work system in the colony. Each and individual having a well-defined, within the group, each and individual having well-defined work system in the colony. Second, they are having overlapping generations. Okay, more than one breeding generations. So they are having the overlapping generation. And offspring will assist or will help the parents. These are the three important characters. Because of that, we are saying that termites are called social insects. Again, I am repeating. The individual will cooperate in the colony. Each group of individual having well-defined work system in the colony. Third, they are having the overlapping generations and offspring will assist their parents. Because of these three important characters, we are saying termites are social insects. Next, coming to the termitaria, already we have discussed what is termitaria. It is the living place of the termite, and the soil inhabiting termites build the earthen mound. This is the photograph I have shown. This is a soil inhabiting termite. They will construct the earthen mound either below the ground or above the ground. This is the photograph of the above the ground. Some of the termitaria they will construct below the ground. So what or how they will construct the termita? What are those materials are used to construct this termitoria? What are those materials? Soil, their saliva. That's why I told the salivary glands are very well developed. Soil, saliva, and this excreta. These three will help to construct the termitoria. So what are those? Soil, saliva, and excreta are used for constructing the termitoria. Okay. Next, coming to their food. What food they are consuming? What kind of food they are consuming? So cellulose is the only organic food which are available for the termites. Cellulose is only the organic food which is available for termite, but the cellulose is required inside the termite body to digest. So how it will digest? Simply it will digest, or some other things will help to digest this food material inside the termite's body. So now I'll explain how it will digest. In case of lower termite groups like your worker and soldier, in this case the flagellate protozoa which helps to digest the cellulose inside their digestive system of the termite body. So in case of lower termites like worker and soldier, they will use the flagellate protozoa which helps to digest the cellulose inside the termite body. But in case of higher termites like queen and in case of king, they are having the bacteria and fungi inside their body that will help to digest the cellulose inside their digestive system. So in case of lower termite, flagellate protozoa. In case of higher termite, bacteria and fungus will help to digest this organic food material called cellulose. Okay, so keep it in mind, very very important. Now coming to the different families under the Isoptera order. So what are those families? That is Rhinotermitidae, Podotermitidae, Calotermitidae, Termitidae. And as we know, this Termitidae only the economically causing damaging group. So other this also there. So what are those families? What we have said? Rhinotermitidae, that is called subterranean termites. Podotermitidae, that is rotten wood termite. Calotermitidae, that is dry wood or damp wood termites. And Termitidae, that is termites. So where they will construct their nest, these different families. So Rhinotermitidae, they will construct their nest inside the soil. And whatever wood material will come in contact with soil, they will infest those wood material. So that Rhinotermitidae, they will construct their nest under the soil, and what are those wood material will come in contact with soil, they will infest. So this is the Rhinotermitidae. Podotermitidae, that is rotten wood termite. Generally, this group of termite, they will construct their nest in the moist wood material. Where moisture is there, inside the wood material, they will construct their nest. And they won't come in contact in the soil. Okay? They won't come in contact with the soil. So they will construct their nest in the where the moisture will be there inside the wood. So this is Podotermitidae. Next coming to the Calotermitidae. Calotermitidae, that is dry wood or damp wood. While they will construct nest, they will construct the nest inside the wood. There are no need of requirement of the moisture things. Only require the wood. Inside the wood, they will construct their nest, and they also do not come in contact with soil. Okay. Now next is Termitidae. Is the largest family of the termite worldwide, and they are on the only they are causing damage, not your rhino, podo, and calo. Okay. So next is again I am differentiating few things here. Earlier also we have discussed somewhat repetition, but I would like to mention those things like immature, that is worker and soldier, and adult, this is king and queen, how will differentiate. Earlier we have said that body is pale in color due to having weak sclerotization. Somewhat they are look like ant-like appearance. Termite, if you notice very minutely, it will be looking somewhat ant-like appearance. This worker and soldier, it looks like ant-like appearance, but with a broader junction between the thorax and abdomen. They are having a junction between the thorax and their abdomen. In case of adults, just opposite. Earlier said weak sclerotization and pale in color, that is darker in color and having well sclerotization. Compound eye I told in the earlier case that is absent in case of immature form, but it is present in mature form. Wings also same, it is absent in immature form, and it is present in case of adult or reproductive form. Antenna, both the cases moniliform type, beaded line. Okay. Mouth parts, both the cases are chewing type with well-developed mandibles are present. So this is the brief about the order and family level character of the Isoptera. Okay. Next, coming to the another economically important group, that is Thysanoptera. Another important group, that is Thysanoptera. Very, very important. As you know, in most of the vegetable crops like chili, brinjal, your tomato, your cucurbits, that thrips is the very, very serious pest. So under Thysanoptera, the common insect that is thrips. And what its etymology? Thysano, that is mean, as you know, that is fringe, and ptera, that is wing. So say that is a fringed wing. Okay, their wing is fringed, thread-like structure. It is present. Okay, in clearly you will see the photograph. This is there's a wing like thread-like structure. It is present in their wing. Okay, so this is the etymology. Thysano means fringe, ptera, that is mean wing. Now coming to the order level character under the Thysanoptera. What are those characters? As you know, if you visited the farmer's field or your nearby plot, you cannot see very clearly these thrips because they are very minute and soft-bodied insects. So if you have to see very critically, you have to observe those insects under the leaves, and they will present underside of the leaves. Very, very unique characters that they will present the underside of the leaves. So they are minute, slender, and soft-bodied insects, and their mouth parts also piercing, rasping, and sucking type of their mouth parts. Okay, their mouth part is rasping and sucking type. They are having 3 stylets. Why I am saying 3 stylets? Because their right mandible is absent. Their right mandible is absent. 2 maxillary stylet and 1 mandibular stylets are present. So they are having 3 stylet derived from 2 maxillae and 1 mandible. Left mandibular stylet, it is present, and right mandible it is absent. Hence we are saying this is asymmetrical mouth part because right mandible is absent over here. So we are saying that is asymmetrical mouth part. Okay, so and they are having a mouth cone. They are having the mouth cone. How mouth cone? How it is? Mouth cone is how it is formed. Mouth cone is formed by the labrum and labium together with basal segment of maxillae. So how it formed? The mouth cone, labrum and labium together, it will formed with basal maxillae. Okay, labrum and labium together with basal maxillae form their mouth cone. So they are having 3 stylets, 2 maxillary and 1 mandibular, that is left mandible. Right mandible is absent. Coming to the wing characters, wing I already said, their wing are a very narrow and fringed wing, and they are having hair-like structure which increase the surface area. Wings are narrow and fringe-like, and they are having a hair-like structure that is increase the surface area. They are not active flyers. They are not active flyer. They are passive flyer. Why passive flyer? Only if the wind is heavily blown, they will fly through that. They cannot migrate from one place to another place because they are very smaller in size, minute and soft bodied. Only with the help of wind they can move one place to another place. So they are not active flyer, they are passive flyer. Okay. Next, coming to the tarsus, leg character. Tarsus only one or two segmented. Generally, as you know, tarsus 5 segmented, but in this case, tarsus is one or two segmented. Okay, and the apex of the tarsus having a irreversible protrusible vesicle. At the apex of the tarsus, you will see, if you see my cursor here, having irreversible protrusible bladder-like vesicle. This will help grip inside the grip in the leaves. Okay, to stay in the leaves, this irreversible protrusible vesicle that is present at the apex of the each tarsus. Okay, so they are at the apex, they are having irreversible protrusible vesicle. Next is abdomen. Abdomen is often pointed. Mostly their abdomen is pointed. Okay, so this is in this photograph, you see it is not broader, it is somewhat pointed like. So abdomen is often pointed and appendicular ovipositor. See my cursor, you will see that is the ovipositor. There is a conical like structure. There is an appendicular ovipositor. It is coming out from the abdominal segment. It is not attached. So it is an appendicular ovipositor that is coming out from the abdominal segment. It may be present or absent. I will say later when suborder level character will discuss in which suborder it is present, in which suborder it is absent. So appendicular ovipositor, it may be present or it may be absent. And very, very important, because this order is merged the exopterygote and endopterygote. This is the last order. Okay, so here nymphal stage is followed by the prepupal and pupal stage, which is analogous to the pupa of endopterygote insect. Nymphal stage is followed by the prepupal and pupal stage, which is analogous to the pupal stage of the endopterygote insects. Okay, so these are the order level character under the order Thysanoptera. Once I will repeat just fastly. They are minute, slender, and soft-bodied insect. Their mouth part is rasping and sucking type. They are having 3 stylets, 2 maxillary stylet and 1 mandibular stylet, that is left mandible. Right mandible is absent. Hence, we are saying it is an asymmetrical mouth part, and mouth cone, which is formed by the labrum and labium, followed by a basal maxillae. It is called a mouth cone. Wings are narrow and fringed, having a hair-like structure which increase the surface area. And they are not active flyer, they are passive flyer. With the help of wind, they will blow one place to another place. Tarsus, you will see here, you will see in this photograph, it is very clearly tarsus with 1 or 2 segmented. Here 2 segmented, you see 1, 2. Tarsus is 1 or 2 segmented, and at the apex of the tarsus, here you will see no claw-like structure is present. Also, in later orders, the claw-like structure are present. But in this see, there is no claw-like structure here, having a irreversible protrusible vesicle which is present at the apex of the tibia. Okay, irreversible protrusible structure is present at the apex of the each tarsus. Okay, it's a bladder-like structure, and the abdomen is oftenly pointed, and an appendicular ovipositor is present. See, this ovipositor, it is present, and it is nymphal stage followed by prepupal and pupal stage, which is analogous to endopterygote insects. Now coming to the 2 suborder level character, Terebranchia and Tubulifera. This is the photograph. See my cursor. This is the Terebranchia and this is the Tubulifera. How to differentiate Terebranchia and Tubulifera? See, in Terebranthia, they are having appendicular ovipositor. See my cursor. In Terebranthia, they are having appendicular ovipositor, but in Tubulifera, they do not have ovipositor. Have you seen this photograph? They do not have ovipositor. In case of Terebranthia, their end portion of the abdomen is not tube-like structure. In Tubulifera, their end portion of the abdomen is having a tube-like structure. See, can you see now? So their end portion of the abdomen is not having tube-like structure. Their end portion having a tube-like structure. And in case of Terebranthia, their cross veins are present. See, these are the all veins. Their all cross veins are present, but here like structure. No cross veins are present in case of Tubulifera. So these are the characters to differentiate between the two suborder Terebranthia and Tubulifera. First one is appendicular ovipositor is present, it is absent. At the end of the abdomen, it is not tube-like structure in Terebranthia. It is a tube-like structure in Tubulifera. Cross veins are present in Terebranthia, but it is absent in Tubulifera. So these are the characters under the suborder Terebranthia and Tubulifera. This is the brief characters under the order Thysanoptera. So very, very important order, economically important order. And there I have already, before starting the order level character, I have said what are those crops they are infesting. And they are also transmitting the viral disease also. They are also transmitting the tomato spotted wilt by thrips. So these are the viral disease they are also transmitting. So keep it in mind, very, very economically important order. Next, another character that is Melophaga, that is not economically important. Okay, but it is also a very important order. So this is the photograph of the order Melophaga. What is it? The time of Melo. Melo means wool and Ptera means wing. Sorry, Melophaga. Sorry, Ptera. Sorry. Phaga means eat. Melo means wool. Wool eaters. They are wool eaters. Melo means wool. Phaga means eaters. Wool eaters. So under this order, what are those insects will come? Chewing and biting lices. Chewing lice and biting lice will come under this order. So I will discuss what are those important characters under the order Melophaga. They are very minute insect and body is dorso-ventrally flat. I mean dorsal and ventral portion both are flattened. So they are very minute insect, dorso-ventrally flattened. Their head is broader, triangular, and it is broader than the thorax. Head is broader, larger, triangular, and broader than the thorax. Compound eyes are reduced. You won't see in this photograph the compound eyes. Compound eyes are reduced. Their mouth part is chewing and biting type and having large dented mandible. See, this is a mandible having large dented mandible. See, this is a mandible having large dented mandible. And this mandible, what is the role? This mandible are useful to clip off, to cut off the debris of the host skin and also cling. Cling means tightly hold the skin of the host also. Okay, they are having dennate mandible. Dennate means tooth. Okay, they are having dennate mandible. This mandible useful to cut off or to clip off the skin debris from the host and also cling or hold to the host. Prothorax is invariably free and it is not fused with meso and metathorax, but meso and metathorax may be free or it may be fused. So prothorax, it is invariably free, it is not fused with meso and metathorax, but meso and metathorax may be free or may be fused. Okay, and here very important character, terminal end of the abdomen having a claw-like structure. which help to cling. This terminal end portion of the abdomen having a claw-like structure which helps to cling to the host skin and or their feathers. They will hold the host skin or their feathers. So terminal end of the abdomen, I told that they are having a claw-like structure. Tarsus either two segmented or unsegmented. Okay, tarsus may be unsegmented or may be segmented. And wings are absent or secondary wingless. Wings are absent or secondary wingless, and their eggs are called nits, N-I-T-S. Their eggs are called nits and they are cemented to the feather. Okay, they are cemented to the feathers. So these are the brief characters under the order Melophaga. First one, they are minute, insect, body dorsoventrally flattened, head larger, triangular and broader than the thorax, compound eye is reduced, mouth parts chewing and biting type, and mandibles are dennate type. Tooth, this mandible is useful to clip off the debris, skin debris of the host skin and also cling to the host. Prothorax is free. It is not fused with pterothorax. Meso and metathorax may be fused or may be free. Terminal end of the leg, there are a claw-like structure which help to cling to the host skin or feather. Tarsus may be two-segmented or may be unsegmented. Wings are absent or secondary wingless. And their eggs are called nits, which are cemented in the feather. What are the importance of this order? They are obligate parasites, means completely depend on the host. They are obligate parasite on the birds and less frequent to the mammal. Mostly they are parasite on birds. Obligate. Without birds, they won't parasite. They won't survive. So they are obligate parasite. Completely depend. They'll exploit the host body. So they are obligate parasites on birds, very less to mammal. They are severely infest the poultry birds. What are the poultry birds are there? They will severely infest. Example, Menopode pallidum. Menopode pallidum. This is the scientific name under this order Melophaga. Okay. So these are the brief character of the order Melophaga. Next, another order that is called Siphunculata. Siphunculata, that is called, under this order, the insects belong sucking lice. Sucking lice is there under this order Siphunculata. Their body is dorso-ventrally flattened, but their head is smaller, conical, and narrower than the thorax. Head is smaller, conical, and narrower than the thorax. Here, mouth part is piercing and sucking type. Mouth part is piercing and sucking type. They are also having three stylets, which they are withdrawn into a pouch-like structure which are present in the head capsule while taking rest. They will withdraw the stylet in a pouch-like structure which is present in the head capsule while taking rest. This pouch is variously called stylet sac or buccal sac. Their also mouth is surrounded by a row of hook-like structure. See, this mouth is surrounded by a row of hook-like structure that is called a mouth cone. Mouth is surrounded by a row of hook-like structure that is called mouth cone. While discussing the different modification of the leg, we have discussed one modification, that is scansorial type of leg. Scansorial type of leg present in case of this sucking lice. That's because that is climbing or clinging type of leg. Okay, so legs are scansorial type, that is inwardly bent. See, somewhat bent like. So inwardly bent, and they are mostly clinging to the mammalian hair. They will clinging. The mammals का hair में जो है, that will tightly hold. Okay, they will clinging to the mammalian hair. So legs are scansorial type, inwardly bent and clinging to the mammalian hair. Tarsus, one segmented. At the end of the tarsus, there is a claw-like structure which they can fold back on a thumb-like projection of the tibia, which is an efficient organ of clinging. The tarsus is single segmented. At the end of the tarsus, there is a very, very big claw. Okay, so having a claw-like structure which they will fold back in a thumb-like projection, which is in tibia, forming an efficient organ of clinging. Wings are absent or secondary wingless. Thoracic spiracles are upwardly bent. See this thoracic spiracles, this is my cursor, that is upwardly bent. And abdominal pleurites, this is the portion, abdominal pleurites are very, very well sclerotized. Abdominal pleurites are very, very well sclerotized, and they are also, eggs are called nits, and they are strongly glued to the hair. Eggs are called nits, they are strongly glued to the hair. So, once again I am just repeating the characters. So, body is dorsoventrally flattened. Head is small, conical and narrower than the thorax. Mouth is surrounded by a row of hook-like structure that is called a mouth hole. Mouth parts are piercing and sucking type. 3 stylets which are withdrawn into the pouch-like structure which is located in the head capsule while taking rest. This pouch-like structure is called buccal sac or stylet sac. Legs are scansorial type, which is inwardly bent, and they will help to clinging in the mammalian hairs. Tarsus is one segmented. At the end of the tarsus is having a claw-like structure which will fold back in a thumb-like projection in the tibia. Wings are absent or secondary wingless. Thoracic spiracles are upwardly bent, and abdominal pleurites are very well sclerotized, and they are strongly glued. Eggs are called nits, and they are strongly glued at the base of the hairs. And what is the importance? They are also obligate blood-sucking ectoparasites on mammals. They are obligate blood-sucking ectoparasites in mammals. And the presence of a lice lesion on the skin is called pediculosis. If any lesions form in the skin of the host with the presence of the lice, it is called pediculosis. So example, Pediculus humanus captis under this order Siphonculata, Pediculus humanus captis. So they are obligate blood-sucking parasites in mammals, and the lesions by these parasites in the host skin is called pediculosis. So these are the brief character under the order Siphonculata. The last order, that is Phasmida. Maybe I think this order has not complete. So I thought just very few characters are there under this order. A very beautiful insect. You can see they look like a leaf-like structure. So Phasmida, this etymology means an apparition. An apparition. Apparition means ghost. So apparition, phasma. So the Under this order, what are those insects are come? Leaf insect and stick insect. This is my cursor. This is called stick insect, and this is the leaf insects. So coming to the first, head is prognathous type. Prognathous means mouth part direct in forward direction. Head is prognathous type. Prothorax is small. This is the meso and metathorax are very long. And this metathorax is closely associated with first abdominal segment. Mouth parts are chewing and biting type. See, legs are widely separated from each other. See how much their distance they are maintaining. So legs are widely separated from each other. Femur and tibia, in case of leaf insect, they look like a, see, femur and tibia in my cursor, see, in leaf insect, they shows leaf-like or lamellate expansion in their tibia and their femur. Tibia and femur shows lamellate expansion in the leaf insect, and a line of weakness which is present between the trochanter and rest of the legs. Tarsus in this insect, they are generally 5 segmented. Wings may present or absent. Forewings, when it is present, it is very small. It is modified into tegmina. And in case of leaf insect, this is a leaf insect, their wing venation is mimics as a leaf venation. The leaf-like structure, so wing venation is mimicked like a leaf venation. Sarsi, hersi, very short and unsegmented, and this is herbivorous. They will feed the plant material. So this is herbivorous. So very few character. Head is prognathous, mouth part chewing type, prothorax short, meso and metathorax long. Metathorax closely associated with first abdominal segment. Legs are widely separated. Tibia and femur shows the lamellate expansion in case of leaf insect. And tarsus 5 segmented, and a line of weakness present between the trochanter and rest of the leg. Wings may be present or may be absent. If present, it is small and modified into tegmina. And leaf venation, in case of leaf insect, wing venation, in case of leaf insect, it mimics the leaf venation. Sarsi is very short and unsegmented, and they are herbivorous. So this is the today's class. What are the orders were left? I have taken. I think all the orders have been discussed. Now the course, I think, according to my side, it is finished. As per your message also, all the economically important orders and other orders we have completed as per our syllabus. So if you have any doubt or clarification, you can ask. Otherwise, I will complete. So if you do not have any doubt, so 3-4 suggestions in this course, that you have to read very critically all the families, because it will be more confusing if you won't see the insect. So you have to see the insect and see the character, then only you can have the idea. Otherwise, you will forget if you marked up. So don't try to mark up. See the photographs and see the characters. It will be somewhat easy to remember. All are having some unique characters that you have to read. And economically important orders like Lepidoptera, Diptera, Coleoptera, Hemiptera, Hymenoptera, Orthoptera. So these are the orders you have to read very critically, minutely, and important characters in the family levels also. Don't leave any characters, because most of the question will come from the family level characters. So go through very critically, and also Besides, other orders also go through very critically. If you want to refer any books, you can refer. So many characters are present. Now you are not able to come, so you can just refer the Google. You will have so many references, so many articles. You can just refer those things. So do that. It will be easy for you because very important course this is. So from my side, it is over. So thank you for patiently hearing. So thanks for today's class. So now I am leaving the meeting. Okay.